This is the second part of Mboya's assassination. At the end of the first part, we saw that Mboya had noticed that there was a clique that was adding up years so that the cut-off years is above him, so that when Jomo Kenyatta dies, he can be disqualified on age factors. He came to a conclusion that the only way to solve this issue is to organize for Kenyatta's death at the appropriate time before a new date has been placed where a candidate was to be over for 45 years. So he approached Nahashon Njenga. Did he approach Nahashon Njenga? Probably Nahashon Njenga placed himself strategically, because it was okay if a Kikuyu would have killed another Kikuyu, other than somebody from one tribe killing the other. As you saw, the reaction of what Nahashon Njenga did, it created tension between Luos and Kikuyus. So it was okay if Nahashon Njenga would have killed Jomo Kenyatta and than somebody from another tribe. But who is Nahashon Njenga? He had been trained in Bulgaria. He had been taken there by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So there is a possibility that Jaramogi and the Eastern Bloc may have strategically placed Nahashon Njenga there so that his footprints are not seen. Arrangements were made for Nahashon Njenga to kill President Jomo Kenyatta, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, at the time when Mboya was out of the country. Why was it that Mboya arranged for Jomo Kenyatta to be killed when Mboya was out of the country? There are two reasons. Reason number one, if you are out of sight, out of mind. So if Kenyatta would have been killed, suspicion would have been to everybody except somebody who was out of the country. The second reason, which is equally important, is that if you are out of the country and something happens in the country becomes a big prison. You cannot run away. So if you're out of the country and you find it appropriate to run away, then you can stay there. So when he was out of the country, I think he was in Mauritius. When he was in Mauritius and Jomo Kenyatta was not killed, he came back and there was a plan for him to meet with Nahashon Njenga. The reason was to find out why it has not happened and to make any more further arrangements. Nahashon Njenga had gone to Kenyatta, and there is something in the intelligence we call turning operation. Turning operation is when you use an agent who is targeting you to send out information that you are, instead of him targeting you, he's now targeting the person who initially sent him, and he behaves as if he's for that person. So Kenyatta somehow convinced him. People say that he paid him double or anything, but in records at Nyati House, records which were indexed, there is an operation we used to call index, which was indexed, never mentions that. So whether he was given or not, but he was somehow convinced. So on the particular day, Mboya came from abroad. He left his home. There was a pre-rendezvous meeting which was organized for at Pan-Afric Hotel. Now, what happened was there is a place where Mboya used to sit, And the arrangements were that there was to be a sign, a signal, where Tom Mboya was seated, so that Nation Jenga tells Tom Mboya that it is safe to meet and whatever. Like you going through the left side of the person, it means that things are bad, you should be left alone. But if you go to the right side, it shows that everything is all right, we are right on track. But Tom Mboya came to the place and found some people seated in his favorite place. You may have found that you go to a prominent place and suddenly you are told to move out of your table because a prominent person is coming to sit there. It may take 5 seconds, it may take 5 minutes. Some people wanasema nini hata sisi kama ni minister ende huko. So when it was delayed and Nahashon Njenga came before the sitting arrangement was there, he stood there awkwardly and whatever. But when the people were at long last convinced to move out of the table and Tom Mboya sat there, Nahashon Njenga came, he gave the right signal, and Tom Mboya took time to clear his drink, soda or tea or even alcohol. And Nahashon Njenga started walking through Uhuru Park. After time had elapsed, which was okay, which Tom Mboya saw it was okay, he went to the chemist. At the chemist, he also wasted a few more times so as to meet this person. When he went to meet this person, as he was stretching out his hand to greet him, he was shot. That is how it was. Finally, I'm adding, one of the major roads in Nakuru is called George Morara Avenue. One of the biggest. George Morara was an MP from Kisii, and he happened to have gained some information about Nahashon Njenga. He believed that Nahashon Njenga was not killed, was not hanged at Kamiti, but he was taken to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. He gave the government an ultimatum to come out clean or he will disclose. He died in a road accident, and from my presentations in the TJRC, everything and ever, you'll find that Kanu days, road accidents used to be the best way for someone to die. So he went, from Nakuru, he didn't go to Kisii. He was summoned by a friendly summon, that is. He was called upon by a DC who was in Kakamega. The DC in Kakamega was Amukisi. And he called him and tried to beg him to leave alone the story of Tom Mboya and Nahashon Njenga. But he insisted. Kisii sometimes can be heavy-headed. So he insisted that he will still talk. And on his way to Kisii, he got an accident and died. This is the second and final part of Tom Mboya's death.